Hard hat's all about showing up to play hard, doing what it takes to win.
If you want to cement legacy, win another.
He's your third center.
You don't want to pump him up too much, but it's hard not to.
This is maybe the most I've ever agreed with you.
I didn't expect, as Noah said, we were going to get any clarity on anything. But I do think that the number one question is, do you have a mandate to get under the second apron? Is this something that's going to happen? I know reporters tried about the CBA and what kind of their strategy and challenges. And again, he's not saying much, so we'll play it and we'll kind of react to what it is.
To have a historic amount kind of committed to the corner plays. I know it's a unique situation, as you alluded to, of the transition. When do you expect to have an indication of what your limitations, if any, you'll have for next season?
We'll talk about all that stuff in the next few weeks.
Is that like, how tough is it? There's not just that uncertainty then right now, not having kind of indication on that.
Listen, we've been talking about this for years, right? I mean, the CBA has been well known for years, and so there are penalties associated with being at certain levels, and we know that. And you just weigh that. You weigh where we are, you weigh everything else, and then you make those decisions. But those are, you have to have the clarity of a full season and a full playoffs, and like I said, a couple of good nights sleep, and everybody gets in a room and put your heads together and figure out what's next.
And you got to get in on the action here with Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in all of North America. Basketball playoffs underway, hockey playoffs as well. We're deep into it now, and you want to get in on the action, cash in on those playoffs, points, rebounds, assists, pick more or less for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. Join millions of users signing up for Prize Picks by downloading the app. Use that code CLNS, and you get 50 instantly deposited in your account when you play 5. You don't even have to win. Play 5, get 50 when you use the code CLNS. In addition to that, great promotions always throughout. You got to be checking in on that app to see what's going on. You get free squares. You get Taco Tuesday. You get players discounted on the boards. That's tomorrow, so check that out. Flex Friday, lineups with a flex play, and a lot of other really cool stuff. So again, download the app, get in on the action. CLNS is the code. Get 50 instantly after you play 5. Once again, code CLNS, get 50 instantly after you play 5. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Are we talking like, room in the courtyard, or are we talking about like a ballroom? Because you got so many damn stakeholders. I just find it fascinating how this is all going to play out, because this is really uncharted territory for Brad. Since he's been in that position as the GM, he's kind of pretty much had his way to do whatever he felt was necessary to win. And now you're dealing with a completely different group of people, completely different set of, I think, standards. And the thing is, he's kind of in the dark right now about it.
What's another question I would ask today, Sherrod? Now that I think about it, I had a list of stuff we didn't ask. Is Brad in on this? Like, is he in this for the long term? Does he see himself here for 10 more years? Because I think that influences this too.
He's going to bob and weave. You knew he was going to bob and weave around that question.
I know. Yeah, but to me, if he's here for the rest of his career, it makes even more sense for him to go on a massive long-term play, John, right? Like if he's going to be here in 2030 and 2035.
Is that his call? Will that be his call? I mean, because he's dealing with stakeholders that he doesn't know how they think or what they're looking for. They may look at Brad and say,
well, if it's not his call, Sherrod, that would make me think he's not in it. He won't be if those things aren't his call.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got them a championship, but you also got them significantly in the hole financially, and we've got to clean this financial mess up. Maybe they're thinking, and they're like, maybe this isn't the guy that's going to give us that balance between being a pretty good team and being financially prudent for our stakeholders. So to me, I think that's where Brad is just kind of like, when he says he really doesn't know, I really believe that he doesn't know. Because when you look at the things that are pretty clear and obvious, there's a definite uncertainty about anything and everything about this organization going forward. We don't know whether they're going to be comfortable financially. Like we're thinking about them just getting out of the second apron. What if this new stakeholder group wants them to get out of just the luxury tax altogether? There may be some draconian cuts coming that we don't know about.
Do you think he doesn't know,
John?
That's
the thing I was thinking. Well, yeah, I was thinking like, the movie Office Space, for those who've seen it. It's like, I've got 8 bosses. How many? 8, and now he's got to go, he's got the Bobs have to tell him what he's going to do now. And I'm not sure. That's the thing, is like, the only thing I'm certain of is that nothing is certain. So I don't think old rules apply. They'll be fine. They'll keep this guy. Brad's here forever. Joe is safe. All of that stuff. Like, I don't know that anything is necessarily true because of the new ownership. And anybody who's ever worked somewhere that has undertaken a new ownership group, you could be world under the previous regime and they do not like you, or vice versa. And I've seen it happen. I've been a couple of places and have a total managerial and one ownership change, one complete managerial change, and you're all starting at zero again. It doesn't matter that the last guy liked you or wanted you or told you could do your job this way. So I don't know if anybody knows how it's going to go. And it's not beyond the realm of possibility. And we joked about it when the Chisholm group came in, this people just breaking their necks to try to push forth the lifelong Celtics fan angle, as if they were trying to anesthetize us all to the reality that's coming of like, oh, he cares. It's going to be all right. Don't worry about the new strange man with the money. Like it was, we do not know. We don't know. Certainly it seems like it's bad business to come in and detonate everything just for the sake. But if you do it under the guise of a rebuild or a restructure or a retool on the fly, building around your core, when the real motivation is spend less, we don't know that. It's very much on the table. We are operating with the logic that we've always operated with, which is Wick and Pags like us. They want a winner here. It does mean something to them. That's gone. So I don't know. All I know is, like, nobody knows. So it's not worth saying I feel good about what they're going to. We don't know yet. We got to see. They haven't made their first move on the board.
Right. And they've got the benefit of having Tatum's injury as cover for that, because now you can justify spending less. You're not going to have your best player for the entire season. So conventional wisdom would tell you, why should I be paying top dollar when I can't produce a top dollar team? And so there's so many factors that this new stakeholder group has got to consider as far as what they're going to do going forward with this franchise.
Yeah, Noah, you were going to say?
No, I was going to just throw out there, it's possible. I think part of what we saw today from Brad, and I know we're clinging on to the word stakeholder, but I also think that there's the reality that the front office has barely had any time to process what just happened. And so when
I don't know if I agree with that one.
With what?
I think you have to have all these,
and then jump in.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm curious.
I was going to say, I think you have to have all these contingencies laid out long ahead of time, right?
Your contingency if Tatum tears his Achilles in the middle of the playoffs.
Oh, that's a fair one. Yeah, that's true. That's a big,
I'm saying
big
that all year they've been discussing what they're going to do this offseason. Brad has had nothing to do all year because they couldn't really do anything at the deadline. He told us he was bored, right? So this whole year has been planning for different scenarios, and I'm sure he's had conversations with Bill. Everything's different. It was a week ago. It was literally exactly a week ago. It's 9:00 at night right now, right? So when Tatum's Achilles ruptured, and so the first few days are just the aftermath, the hospital, the emotions, and so what I saw today from Brad Stevens is a guy who was just kind of processing everything that's going on because there was such a massive wrench in everybody's plans. I mean, none of us thought we were going to be sitting here having this conversation. I look back at the first thing that we were discussing that night, and we were all like, do they tank? Do they go to the lottery? Are they still going to be like, we have no idea, right? And I think there's a micro version of that they're doing as well. He said it today at some point in the press conference that he told everybody in his team to just take a few days to kind of not act, irrationally or not act off of emotions. So there is the Bill angle, but I think there's also the reality that things really dramatically changed and they have to kind of scratch a lot of what they were, initially considering.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I nothing I said has anything to do with interpreting Brad. It's more the reality of the ownership group is such an unknown that nothing is surprising. And again, whatever we've built up any trust with them yet. We don't know whether to take them at their word. This idea of tradition and preserving, and everybody says the same thing. There's a handbook on what you're supposed to say when you take over a team. We value winning and the tradition here, and to put a competitive team forth, and blah blah blah. But ultimately, if it's a group, and that's the whole fear with the PE firm situation, if they're in here and they're just looking at bottom line, and they're answering to people who are viewing this as a business, we are going to be in a weird position we've never been in with this team. And I'm not saying that that's the case, but the stakeholders kind of rattled that cage a little bit in my mind of like, oh yeah, there's a lot of people who might have a say.
Well, I'm curious.
What normally was a small circle, and again, relating to my own experiences, and we went through the Sherrod at NBC. The circle got bigger and it got harder to do stuff. You did have to run through 12 layers to figure out whether you could approve something, and sometimes just the red tape was too much and it wouldn't be worth it. And anyone who's done that, it is different now. You know, it's not just like Brad walks into the owner's office and says, I need the money. It's really going to push us. And he's like, all right, you sold me. You know, there's a lot that goes into it that we don't know yet.
Well, I'm curious, Noah, when you look at second round exit and how you respond to that as a team in this situation versus Tatum going down, and obviously both those things happen together there, but what do you think Tatum's injury could add to the table here that a second round exit with Tatum in place next year might not have?
Well, I think if Tatum was healthy next year, he's in his prime. He's a guy you think that is going to be the core piece of a championship team. You're maximizing the championship window with him in his prime. No question about it. I mean, if you have to follow whatever directive the ownership group gives you, but you're not going to put together a team next year that is not intended to contend for a championship. Now there's a question of, since he's not going to be available anyways, what do you do next year? And that's all the conversations that we've been having over the past few days. Do you tank? Do you acquire young talent because next year you're not going to be contending anyways, right? I don't know that we got any indication today from Brad that he thinks this can be a championship contender next year. He didn't, he said that we're going to put our best foot forward and we're going to be competitive and da-da-da. So I think they have to have a decision as an organization of like, what is our goal for this upcoming season? Is it to just punt a year or is it not? And they would never have had that conversation if Tatum was available. Like that just wouldn't have been a discussion point.
Well, so I think this, go ahead, Sherrod.
No, I was just going to say that the one thing that we know about Brad Stevens up to this point, particularly in this role, is that he tends to have multiple options depending on what he's available to, what he's capable of doing.
That's what I was getting at. They have the contingencies.
I mean, think about when they were looking to move, Malcolm Brogdon, and that didn't work out. And almost like not even the next day, the next 10 minutes, they had another trade already in the works to make things happen. And I think that's the approach that Brad, which to Noah's point earlier when he mentioned, give the guy, have folks take some time off and, take a few days to think. I think that's part of the process. Let's come up with a multitude of possible options so that whatever this stakeholders group wants us to do, we've got something that we can do that can meet that, or we can at least try to address that particular aspect of the business.
No one's sneaking a vegan brownie by me, I'll tell you that.
Okay, you know what, John? We're going to do it.
You have to feel that way too, Bobby.
I have to feel that way. Let's
Yeah.
fly out over and make Luke your first center.
Bobby, we gave you Luke hour early. We are not going to end this on a damn conversation about Luke